In today's video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how to play Eternal Light, and that's coming up right now.
Check this.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Brad. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to play Eternal Light step by step with everything you need to know. So just before this video begins, make sure to throw a thumbs up on this video to show your support, and let's see if we can hit 12 likes for this video. Also, if you'd like to see more videos from me on card games and art and stuff like that, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. So anyways, kicking it off, we're going to start now by showing you everything you need to know to play the game. So to start, when you're building a deck, you need to make sure you're obviously like choosing the right cards and stuff. It's good to have sets like Mummified and Goofy and stuff like that. So when you're constructing a deck anyway, the recommended deck amount is between 30 to 40 cards, 30 being the minimum and 40 being the maximum. And not going over that or below that, because that will kind of like ruin your gameplay experience, and it's the best sort of way to go with deck building. And you want to make sure your deck consists of 1/3 warriors, 1/3 ability cards, and 1/3 consisting of equips and location cards. So it's also good to, you know, like use that kind of stuff, and that's kind of how it works. So once you have your deck put together, you want to place it on the mat like this, so you're obviously like ready to play. Make sure you do shuffle your deck first and your opponent shuffles their deck to make the game fair, and so like you're not just guaranteeing yourself any cards. And before you begin, you want to choose who goes first by either flipping a coin or playing rock, paper, scissors with your opponent and making sure you know who goes first, or just choosing, who knows. But obviously when your deck's placed like this anyway and it's been shuffled, you want to begin that match by shuffling and drawing 4 cards from your deck like this. So when you have your 4 cards in your hand, this is the hand that you will start your game with. Obviously every turn you will draw an extra card, so you'll keep drawing until eventually there's no cards left, and that will obviously determine who loses if you run out of cards. But anyway, to start anyway, you have your 4 cards in your hand like this, and obviously to take a look at that, we just have our hand here. Now when it comes to summoning warriors, you will obviously have a level which is determined right here, which is shown. You have like levels 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up to level 30. And how this works is every round you are guaranteed a summoning token, and a summoning token is worth 5 levels. So you're only allowed to hold one of these max, by the way. You cannot go over that. You cannot hold more summoning tokens. But every single round you are given one anyway, say if you use your summoning token. This guarantees you to summon a level 5 straight away out from your hand, which can be used from 1 summoning token, as you can see here. And if I wanted to, I could summon a warrior right now with 1 summoning token, which is obviously worth 5 levels. But with a level 10, to summon a level 10, you can actually summon a level 10 using 1 token. But the only catch is, if you're using a summoning token to summon a level 10 warrior, you must discard a card from your hand as well as a tribute. So that's kind of how you bring out level 10s on your first turn. And obviously with higher levels, like level 15s and 20s, you'll obviously need to use your warrior, and the warrior's level is worth how many tokens you've used as well. So a level 5 warrior is worth 1 token, and a level 10 is worth 2, etc. and so forth. So the only way to tribute and bring out higher warriors is to have the actual summoning token you're granted every turn. So if I wanted to bring out a level 15 warrior now, I would need to tribute this level 10 warrior and use the summoning token as well, but I don't have the summoning token because I've just used it for this warrior, so I will have to wait till my next turn, and that's how summoning works. Also, when it comes to using your warriors, you will have 2 modes that your warriors can be placed in, which is damage mode and defense mode. And these are sort of like how the card game will work in terms of like battling your opponent's warriors. With damage mode, your card is placed forward like this, so obviously your card will be using its damage points, which is known as 30 with Goofy Bumblebee here. And in defensive mode, it'll be using its defense points, but it is also placed upside down, so your opponent can obviously read it then, but it's also placed upside down. And when a monster is battling, it will use whichever points it's in. So if it's in damage mode, it can attack your opponent, but if it's in defense mode, it cannot attack and it can only defend. So the good thing about defense mode is if you're losing a battle and your opponent is obviously like on the high, trying to defeat you and stuff. The good thing about being in defensive mode with your warriors can reduce the amount of damage that you take. It doesn't stop all damage from coming to you, but if your warrior is to attack you by, let's say, your opponent uses Goofy Bumblebee, obviously it's the same damage, but let's pretend it's like 40 damage right now. If your opponent were to attack Deep Sea Anglerfish, which only has 30 damage defense points, obviously usually the extra 10 points of damage will go towards you, but because it's a defensive mode position, you'll only take half of the damage. So because of that, you'll only take 5 damage points towards your health points. And this is the good thing about defensive mode, because it will reduce any damage you take by half. Moving on to ability cards now. Ability cards are quick play, and they can only be used as sort of like quick play abilities. So quick play meaning you instantly activate them and then they are sent to the afterlife. So we have a few here, for example, which is like Elixir of Life, All or Nothing, and No Fly Zone. And how ability cards work is they remain in your hand until you use them, or until you use something like an ability, or if your opponent like destroys a card from your hand, something like that, or until they're discarded. But ability cards will remain in your hand until they're used, so obviously if you don't use them, then they are going to clog up your hand. But anyways, we're going to take a look at some of these now, for example. So Elixir of Life is obviously being quick play, like all of them, and you instantly activate this to gain 50 life points, so that's how Elixir of Life would work. All or Nothing requires you to use a dice, so some ability cards can require a coin or a dice. All or Nothing's an example of that, so if you do choose to use this ability card, you would need a dice as well as your deck, so that's a card that does require you to use a dice. And this one, which is a sort of like a battle ability card, this is No Fly Zone. This card will destroy all wind type warriors in play on both players' fields, but you will need to discard one card to use that. So that could sort of like, if you need to get rid of a card out of your hand, you can obviously discard that card and use this. So that's ability cards, pretty straightforward and easy to use. Now with quick cards, you will obviously have a few quick cards. I recommend using only a handful of quick cards in each deck, because if you do stockpile your deck with your quick cards, then you're going to end up drawing a lot of them and not have any warriors to equip them to. But for example, here now we have Heat Cannon, which is probably my favourite quick card. And how quick cards work, they're similar to ability cards. They're quick play and can be used instantly like ability cards can. And instead of going to the afterlife, these cards are equipped to the warrior, and how you equip them is you place them under the card, and you have them at the top there with the little plus symbol to obviously represent the card, giving the card a buff. But the description for equipped cards obviously has its own thing, which is equipped to any fire type warrior, the equipped warrior gains 30 damage points. So by equipping this to Flame Knight, Flame Knight's damage points will go up from 220 to 250. And obviously some equipped cards have requirements, like this one requires you to use it on a fire type warrior, so it is important to make sure you use the right equipped cards in the right deck. Now next we're moving on to location cards. So this is a little sort of example I've set up here with a mummified deck, which we're obviously using here. We've got mummified gunslinger on the field in damage mode, and we've got mummified mannequin, which is in the afterlife right now, so obviously we can't use that because it's been destroyed. But how location cards work anyway is there's one spot on the field which is obviously in the center where you'll place your location card, and this spot is shared by you and your opponent. So say if I were to use Ancient Pyramids now in that spot, which would be in the center of the field, so obviously it'll be shared between your opponent and you. There's only one spot, so if your opponent were to use a location card now, it would instantly replace Ancient Pyramid. But location cards benefit both you and your opponent. So with this Ancient Pyramids anyway, the ability is by discarding one card every turn, I can add any mummified card from the graveyard to my hand. So right now we're going to discard Contact with the Dead, and by doing that we can add Mummified Mannequin back to our hands. So that's how location cards work. There's sort of like a little benefit thing to them, so obviously they can help you in your deck if you do draw them. And I would recommend only using 1 to 2 of these, because obviously if you crowd your deck with location cards, then you're not going to be able to obviously use your proper cards like your warriors to defend and attack, so that could be sort of like a downfall as well. But anyway, that's location cards, how they work. And yeah, last but not least for this video, we're going to be taking a look at mutation cards and show you how they work. So mutation cards are obviously a part of your special deck, so they're not a part of your main deck and should not be used in your main deck, because obviously that would sort of break the game. So they are a separate deck that you have up to 8 cards of your choosing. You can use none if you wish, you can use up to 8 if you wish, but we're going to be using Healer of Light for example here today. And how to bring out mutation cards is kind of like, I would say fairly easy, but sometimes it can be complicated. And what you need to obviously summon that is to have the right ability cards. So there is ability cards that are dedicated to bringing out mutation warriors, and this is one for example which is Bright Light Burst. And as you can see from the description, to bring out a level 15 light warrior, which is obviously Healer of Light because it has light in its name and it's level 15, we need to send 2 light warriors to the afterlife to summon that. So for example here I'm going to use Ninja of Light, and for the purpose of this video Mummified Machine, because I do not currently own 2 light warriors. But anyways, let's pretend these are both light warriors, even though this one isn't, and send them to the afterlife using this ability. And by doing that we can bring out our Healer of Light in whichever position we choose. We can have it in defense position, we can have it in damage, but we're going to put it in damage position, and just like any other warrior it can be used the exact same way. and that's how you bring out Mutation Warriors. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys have found this tutorial pretty easy to understand. It should be pretty straightforward, and I hope it does help you guys out. If you have any questions concerning the card game, maybe I've not mentioned something in this video, maybe there's a rule I've missed, make sure to leave a comment down below to let me know what you need help with, or if you need to like understand something better. I will reply to all the comments that I get about this game if you guys are struggling with any like rules or anything like that. But other than that, my name's been Brad. I hope you've enjoyed this video learning how to play Eternal Light. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video, and if you want to grab yourselves a pack of Eternal Light now, there will be links in the description where you can go and get that. Other than that, anyway, I've been Brad. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.